What's up, Chief? It's Mirza here, and it's finally here, the FM26 Scouting Guide. If you're a top club, hopefully this video will transform the way you approach scouting and get you to Wonderkids and build your recruitment machine that will get you to those Wonderkids before big clubs get to them. I'm going to show you how to set up your scouting, some filters that are almost cheat codes, and how to use some of the new tools that are given to you specifically in FM26. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. One caveat that I obviously want to make is that this is for clubs that are bigger and are, more established and have all the scouting money that they need, and there's really no consideration in terms of how much scouting money you have at this level. I will be doing a scouting guide for lower level teams as well, where the focus is a lot more on getting free transfers and loans to really get the best squad out for that season for whatever level you're at. But this is for an established team and how you should scout it. So we are going to be looking at my Nottingham Forest save that I was streaming before. We had won back-to-back Premier Leagues, so this is a high established level team, and I'm going to show you how I had my recruiting set up here. The first thing when it comes to recruitment is when you set your scouting assignments, you need to know how many scouts you have. So for this case, I have 23 scouts. I simulated it here, that's why all of them have left. I have only 6, but I have 23 scouts. So let's say if I had all 23, I would not really want to have more than like 17, 18 assignments out, because you want to have some free scouts to, do any sort of live, ad hoc player scouting. So you want to have a couple available. So you don't want to have more than 17, 18. I think have like 12 or 13, but just an FYI in terms of, a hard cutoff. So here are my 12 assignments. We will go through every single one of them. But again, as Nottingham Forest, which I've been established Premier League club, I've won the Premier League 2 years in a row. I'm really thinking about either getting players who are, at their peak years and can really improve my first team, or Wonderkids that I can, sell on and make profit, or have them really grow with me and become absolutely world-class players. So that is really what the focus of all of my recruitment pretty much is. Out of the 12, I have 7 focuses on, 18 to 27-year-olds who are ready for the first team, and 5 focuses on 15 to 18-year-old Wonderkids that will be for the future to hopefully be world-class. So let's just get started with the list of first team ready players recruitment focuses. When it comes to my ongoing long-term focuses, I don't have any sort of position focuses. If I have any sort of position needs, then I'll put a recruitment focus and not put it as ongoing. I will just put it as top or standard and just put it for a specific position. So just a heads up there. So here's the first focus that I have, is usually the age range I do is 15 to 27, and minimum current ability and potential ability, I put it 3 stars. That is the level that I feel, there are players that can, contribute to the team and be good squad players. So current and potential, I need a minimum to be 3 stars. It would be okay to do a 2.5. That also makes sense, and I do that sometimes. But as I get more deep into a save and have really class players, I will usually up it to 3 stars. And this recruitment focus is focused on Champions League players. That is obviously where the best players in the world play. So you definitely want to have an analyst or a scout going out there and looking at the best Champions League players. So if we look at some of the players that have been matched off this Champions League recruitment focus, you see players like Esmir Jusic. This guy has interest from some top clubs, and he will obviously improve many teams. And the other guy that matches an A+ is Steven Musa. I mean, again, look at this guy. This guy probably has interest from a top club, Tottenham, which top-ish club. I mean, right now they're battling relegation in real life, but 10 years on, they're probably a little bit better. Our next recruitment focus is focused on a couple of international competitions, the Nations League and the World Cup qualifying cycles for Europe. So you're going to be able to see some top players for top international teams like Germany, France, England, etc. And also more obscure teams like, I don't know, Denmark, Serbia, maybe a tier below. They also might have some top teams that this might pick up. So it's definitely a useful focus to have. Our next recruitment focus is going to focus on another international competition, and this is going to send your scout to South America for their World Cup qualifiers. You're going to see some top countries like Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, and some lower ones again like Uruguay, Chile give you some really good players. The next recruitment focuses back on the lower tier of European competition, that is the Europa League and the Conference League. And also note, there's one slightly different thing. I have 15 to 26 years old here because I would like a player slightly on the younger side here because they are playing lower in European competitions, they probably will not be as good. So I would like them to be a bit younger so that they have more room to develop. Real quick, if you're enjoying the video, please make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitch. I stream there daily, and I got FM Journeyman save going on right now. Our next recruitment focus, which can again get some really good players, is just a basic one. Do not put any scouting areas, nothing here, no competitions, nothing, touch nothing here. Just put 15 to 26 year olds, 3 stars, and put some of your best scouts here. You can edit this and put some of the best people that can judge potential ability or current ability, and just send them out. They will get you some of the best players that are available. Our last 2 focuses, this one is for the Premier League. So this will scout for players in the Premier League and will help you, know opponents and different players. And if you notice, I also have this at 2.5 stars because it also helps you get homegrown players sometimes. So the standard can come a little bit down for a homegrown player because they help fill different quotas. And our last recruitment focus, very similar to the last one I showed you, which was Premier League players. This is just English players and players in England. So again, this is to help with homegrown rules, so we lower the threshold to 2.5 stars. And another one that isn't currently in my recruitment focuses, but I do use a lot, I don't use it when I'm like a top team, is one where you click on further details and add the contract status is expiring in 1 year. So you have a tab on players who have expiring contracts coming up, so that whenever you click on it, if there's a top player, you can see if their contract time is coming up, so that you can offer them for free or try to get them for a cheap transfer fee. Moving on to our Wonderkids scouting. So this is the first one that I have that is for the 15 to 18 year old range. And if you look, the minimum current ability and potential ability has changed. It's 1.5 star current ability and 2.5 star potential ability. Keep in mind, this is a minimum. So minimum current ability, minimum potential ability. We want to cast a wider net and make sure that we catch all of the Wonderkids that we can. And if we look at the scouting areas, you see we are focused on our Slavic countries. So Serbia, Slovenia, Slovakia, Czechia, and Croatia. These countries are all close to each other, so you can bunch them up and assign a couple scouts. And these are absolute talent factories, and you can get really cheap Wonderkids with insane potential. So this is one that is very much worthwhile that you want to do. Our next youth recruitment focuses on the other side of the world, the other talent hub, which is South America. So this one, I just picked the continent of South America as the focus with the same parameters of 1.5 to 2.5 stars, and just send my scouts there. And this tends to work really well. And one more quick thing, in general, if you guys didn't know what this checkmark include results found in other recruitment focuses means, that means if a player's been identified in a different one of these 15 to 18 year old focuses, if you check this, he'll also show here. If not, he won't. So in general, I usually don't check it once I'm deep into scouting. I have like a good idea of the world, but at first I do actually have it included, just an FYI. Our next recruitment focus looks at the U20 World Cup, which is obviously a huge Wonderkid hub where you can find a lot of good players, and also looking at the same European World Cup qualifiers that we're using for the older guys, just in case any young players are playing for their national teams. The next youth recruitment focus is going to look at all the continental competitions. If you notice, I had it separated for the older guys by Champions League and Europa League and Conference League. For the younger Wonderkids, I have them all together just to save scouts. And that is because any young player that's playing in Europe and playing consistently for their team, I would like to scout, and I think they will be at similar levels. So I just put them all together. But this is a really good one that can catch some Wonderkids that are playing for some of the lesser known European clubs, or top clubs in Serbia or like Croatia, things like that. And the last one is just a simple, again, 15 to 18 year old with no particular scouting area. And this again catches a lot of great Wonderkids. This is probably the best one, but it also catches a lot of the more expensive Wonderkids and like unattainable ones. But that's a great thing because you can use those Wonderkids as a reference point or a comparison tool. There are obviously other areas like Africa and North America where you can scout, but I tend to focus a lot of it on regions of Europe and South America because they are the most financially efficient and will, not cost you too much in scouting relative to how many players you find. And those players in North America, Africa, and East Asia, etc., and Australia, I tend to find more through manual scouting, which is going through the player database and putting filters and trying to find Wonderkids in that sense. And I will be showing you some of my favorite filters that I use and some of my favorite just cheats that I do to, try to find some of these younger Wonder Kids. So keep in mind that I already have some of the best Wonder Kids scouted through, my recruitment focuses and what I showed you, but I'm still gonna obviously show you what some of the things that I look at. So one of the first things that I like to do is filtering by world reputation for Wonder Kids. So world reputation's built up through consistent high level performance, playing at a high club, getting international caps, things like that. So players that have high reputation tend to, it has a high correlation with them being, higher, more potential Wonder Kids. There are times when that is not true. You can have players that are, coming from obscure countries and getting early caps, and that's why they have, better reputation. Like for example, this guy from Estonia has pretty good reputation, but I promise you he's not going to be very good. But because he has a couple caps for Estonia, he has pretty good world reputation. So you kind of have to use your judgment there. So if you look like Cameroon, Germany, Spain, England, like these might be some really good Wonder Kids, but the other more obscure countries, maybe not. Another one, which is my absolute favorite filter, is filtering by international apps or apps in general and making it at least one, and then applying it for 15 to 18-year-olds, filtering by world reputation, and starting to evaluate these countries. So, Cameroon usually produces some good Wonder Kids, so it might be worth, scouting. Canada, maybe worth scouting, but then Burkina Faso, probably not worth scouting. Egypt might be worth scouting. I mean, this guy looks pretty decent for an 18-year-old. So as you evaluate these countries and their youth ratings, etc., like South Africa sometimes produces Wonder Kids and really good players like him for his age, and they're super cheap. His value is less than $500,000. So just looking at the countries where these guys have gotten caps, like again, a 17-year-old playing for Costa Rica, he might be pretty good. He's already starting in the Costa Rican Premier League a pretty good amount, although not playing super well. So you should evaluate the countries that they have the caps for, and then scouting from there. Another classic technique, which was a lot easier in FM24 if I'm honest, because there was less clicking involved, is going through the national team and looking at players. So I got Colombia pulled up as an example. You just look at the youngest players. So like there's two guys that are 19 years old playing for the Colombian national team. These guys are probably going to be really good. And then you can go Ecuador, look 21-year-olds, a little bit older, but like in general you go through them, and if you find 18-year-olds or like even younger 17-year-olds playing for the first team, then definitely scout them. And then you can even go to like under 21s or under 19s, and if you're seeing like 15, 16-year-olds playing for under 21s, that they probably have a lot of potential or are really good already, at least for the under 21s level, so they're getting called up, so you're going to want to scout them. The last thing I want to talk about in terms of the scouting guide, and this is something that I really think it should be out to all scouting guys going forward, is the new TransferRoom In. So for the new TransferRoom In, you can put in any position you want and change the age range and ask for regular starter or a breakthrough prospect as I have listed. So I did these players and just random positions for normal age, first team players, regular starters, and Wonder Kids, asking for teams to give me players. And this is a great way to begin your scouting and finding good players. For your information, I put these requests, these transfer rooms in a month ago, and then simulated a month, and just came back with these 102 responses. And if you look at some of these top players, so these are the older players that are ready for the first team. These are absolutely world-class players that are being identified, and then you can scout them from here as they start to show up in this list. And again, like Ocampo, look at how good this guy is, and he is in Mexico, so he's actually like semi-affordable. Actually, he's pretty expensive for being in Mexico, but you see insane players get identified with zero work from your end with this TransferRoom In. And same with the Wonder Kid responses. So I filtered this for the top Wonder Kid response. So this one gave us 19 responses, so I just filtered it for the center back ones, just so we can have those 26-year-olds and stuff go away. And if you look at some of these players, the recommendation is always lower with Wonder Kids because they're obviously not as good, and it's a lot more about potential. But for example, if we just click into this guy's 17 years old, not turning 18 for another 6 months. This is an insane profile for a center back, and again, it's been identified. I bet he's wanted by he's literally wanted by some of the best teams in this game. So this is again another great way to just be able to identify Wonder Kids and then start scouting this list and the players that are available. Again, like pretty good player here. And that is the best guide for FM26 scouting when you are a top club who is rich and established. If you enjoyed the video or learned something from it, make sure to give it a like and to subscribe to the channel. And comment down below what you want to see in terms of next video for me. Do you want to see more guides? Do you want to see experiments, etc.? Anyways, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.